The Somalis are so pissed off about President Trump calling Somalian criminals garbage that they're, respectfully pushing back and taking the high road, I guess. And, no, actually, they're not, because they're literally peeing on President Trump's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which, as it turns out, is just proving his point. Do you know who would do that? A garbage individual. That's you. Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. It is beginning to look a lot like Christmas on my set and feel like it because it's freezing cold in here. So I hate to keep talking about the same thing, but it really is a conversation that continues to escalate. The topic of not just illegal immigration, but also legal immigration. Also, why do we have all of these Somalian people in our country committing crimes with taxpayer money? Why are we naturalizing these people? Why is this a thing that we're doing to ourselves? And President Trump hit a real nerve with Somalians when he said that he was going to send ICE after them. Now, it turns out their little takeover scheme was exposed for what it was, and it needs to continue to be investigated, by the way, because there's, in my opinion, there is no way that Ilhan Omar was not the person behind all of this. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch Friday's show, okay? And so now Somalians are, they're panicking. They're backed up against a wall and they're panicking. And the fact of the matter is, they never intended to come here to assimilate and become American. That's not the design of this. It is simply a scheme to infiltrate and conquer, dismantle the West and conquer it. Now, I would like for you to just not take my word for it, because it's what I say all the time, right? It's my new thing. I'm saying it all the time. What does Sara Gonzales know? How could she possibly know all these things? Okay, that's fine. Don't take my word for it, actually. Take theirs.
My biggest fear in life is that this man may never witness our full takeover. Yes, he may never witness that. He already witnessed our partial takeover, our little success in America. He's old and sick, I know. He may not witness our full takeover, but I promise you that his sons will witness. Just like him, we came to exist in this country. See? The land of free men, the land of opportunities. And we're here. Yes, and we're not leaving, actually. We're not going back.
It's just the arrogance and the entitlement. We're here. We're not going back. I mean, you are if we say you are. Denaturalization is a thing if you don't hold up your end of the bargain, which it doesn't sound like any of you guys are. Now, when you have this conversation about the Somalian people and what their true goals and intentions really are, you can look no further than their chief spokesperson these days, Ilhan Omar, wrapped in her swaddling hijab, who has we've already played, I'm sure you guys have seen, where she is just saying that she represents the interests of Somalia. And that in and of itself should be enough to expel her from Congress, denaturalize her, and deport her. That is completely antithetical to the naturalization paperwork that she signed. But on top of that, she thinks that asking people to assimilate in a country is actually akin to the Nazis. She thinks that if you think that people who immigrate to this country, who come to this country, if you think that people who come here should learn the language, should learn the culture, should try to blend in, should try to represent American values, American morals, American culture, American traditions, if you expect them to assimilate, you too must be a Nazi, I guess, according to brainiac Ilhan Omar.
Stephen Miller said, on Thanksgiving Day, he posted, "No magic transformation occurs when failed states cross borders. At scale, migrants and their descendants recreate the conditions and terrors of their broken homelands." What do you make of this argument? of failure to assimilate and sort of ruining America. How do you understand this?
I mean, when I think about Stephen Miller and his white supremacist rhetoric, it reminds me of the way the Nazis described Jewish people in Germany. And, you know, as we know, there have been many immigrants who have tried to come to the United States who've turned back, one of them being Jewish immigrants. We know the way that people were described who were coming from Ireland, Irish immigrants. We know the way in which people were described back then when they were Italian immigrants.
So Ilhan Omar, big Jew lover, apparently, all of a sudden. Like, what? Ilhan Omar is here to explain the Jewish people's, all of their trials and tribulations. Ilhan Omar loves the Jews, apparently, which, by the way, it shouldn't be lost on you. Stephen Miller is Jewish. So she is, of course, like trying to explain to a Jew how he is a Nazi because he expects people to assimilate in his, like, you can't. Please don't think about it for too long because your brain will start hurting. None of it makes sense. You're a Nazi, even if you're Jewish, if you think that we should just have one country and cultures that blend together. And by the way, she mentions the Italian immigrants and the Irish immigrants and the history there. Well, if you'll notice, they assimilated, did they not? People realized, hey, these people assimilated. I don't, maybe I'm missing it. You guys let me know in the comments if I'm missing it, where there are like these giant cities full of all of these Irish people who are, taking over, they're flying their own flags. They're like, is that happening? How about the Italians? Are there places where they only speak exclusively Italian? Here in this country, they're going to run a campaign, a political campaign, where they're going to go around their city and they're going to run their campaign rallies all in Italian. It's not happening. It's not happening. Why? Because they assimilated. And then it turns out it wasn't the immigrants that were the problem. It was the assimilation and the lack thereof that was actually the problem. When you assimilate, people don't care. Assimilating shows that you understand the value of this country. There was a reason, there was a purpose why you came here. Not to come in and take over, bring your shitty culture. Like, if your culture is so cool in Somalia, stay there. If your flag is so important, if your culture is so great, if you're so proud of your country that you came from, like, probably just don't come. Okay? Instead, they're coming here and proudly saying, we're not assimilating, we're going to take over. By the way, again, Brainiac Ilhan Omar said something a little astounding about the Founding Fathers as well.
This is certainly not what the Founding Fathers of the American dream were thinking about when they said, that when they set out to write the Constitution.
This woman sits there. She's from Somalia. She has a Star Wars name. And she's going to sit here and explain to you how the Founding Fathers really valued people from Somalia. You just couldn't make it up if you tried. You just could not make any of this up if you tried. Look at how it's going in Europe and the UK. Every single shred of evidence you have for a place that has tried this, for a first world country that has decided to import the third world, it always ends the same. I mean, Stephen Miller has this entirely correct. When you import a bunch of people from a third world country, and you are a first world country, and you don't ask them to assimilate, you don't expect them to assimilate. In fact, it's frowned upon, apparently, for you to say, hey, learn English. Hey, don't fly that flag. What are you flying that flag for? If that country is so great, go back. Hey, by the way, we believe in the Constitution and law and order here. Hey, this was founded as a Christian nation. If you have a problem with that, maybe rethink your visit. Like, it's nonsense. It's stupid. It's stupid policy to just say, no, don't assimilate. It's fine. In fact, we'll cater to you. We will cater to you. That's dumb, guys. They're just bringing over the same shitty culture. I mean, you saw Jacob Frey eating the Somali slop, okay? He didn't love it. And he's like the biggest Somalian simp that there is. I'm just saying. Their culture, here's what their culture represents. Shitty food, marrying little girls, raping women, stoning women, throwing gay people off of buildings. Stephen, have I missed any?
No, but I wanted to show this one again just because it's so good.
So good. Look at that. That is shit. If Jacob Frey can't even eat this food, that is shitty food. And it looks disgusting too. I'm just going to say that. You couldn't pay me. Look at...
What even is that?
I don't know.
Like bugs.
It looks like bugs. Media Matters is going to like do a hit job on me for being racist or something, xenophobic. She said they have shitty food. It looks shitty to me. I don't know. So the point is, there's nothing in that culture that I just named to you that is good, that is valuable. It's all bad. Look at that. That is a man who is gonna hate his life in about 30 minutes when he runs to the bathroom. That's what that is. And you have, as I mentioned earlier, the guy who's like peeing on Trump's Hollywood Walk of Fame star, like, oh man, we really got him. We really stuck it to Trump. We peed on his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's how we're going to prove to you that we're the good guys. This is stupid. It's dumb. I want to play for you, as we're having this conversation, another one who needs to go the home is Democrat Maine State Representative Mana Abdi, who was giving an interview and she was talking about her move to America. And apparently moving here from war-torn third world country Somalia was like a boot camp. It was like really hard and stuff.
So coming into the States, everything from the snow to, you know, the housing, the homes that we were all of a sudden occupying, everything was a shock, honestly. Every day was something new, and I'm like, oh my God, this is just getting worse.
The AC.
Yeah,
so what state did you guys land first of all?
Kansas.
Kansas City.
Of all places. Yeah. It was like a boot camp for Maine, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's just like, right, like, I mean, anyone who lives in Maine knows Maine and has ever visited Kansas, they will know what I'm talking about. It's
Really?
It's just a lot.
Oh, yeah, Kansas. I mean, it was just a lot, you know? I mean, I had to like live in a home instead of a mud hut. It was just really hard. I had AC and electricity. Someone handed me a free iPhone. I mean, God, it was hard for me. It was really hard. Like, why are we allowing this? We're doing this to ourselves. Go back home. And in the meantime, America, can we get serious about this? Can we like strengthen our policies so we're not just letting these people who are completely entitled and arrogant into our country? It's going to destroy it if we don't do something about it before it's too late. Again, case in point, practically every European country right freaking now. Make sure you're subscribed to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Share the show. It'll help us. And smash the like button. Do all the things. Do all the things. Comment right now. Tell me, Sarah, I did all the things. You need to do all the things. I'm going to give you just a second more, a smidge more to do that. All right, that's enough. Want to thank our sponsor, Relief Factor. So Relief Factor is an all-natural anti-inflammatory for anyone who just lives in pain and thinks that that's your life. Now, it doesn't have to be, okay? Doctors developed this after they were tired of giving their patients these drugs that were just, I mean, if you've ever taken pain medication, I actually try to make it a point not to because I hate the way it makes me feel. It makes you feel all loopy, and then, you can't operate heavy machinery, you can't drive, you can't drink. I mean, aside from the heavy machinery, that sounds like no fun, okay? Try Relief Factor if you're living in pain. They have a 3-week quick start. 99% of the people who order that go on to keep ordering more. The odds are in your favor that it's going to work for you. And then it can be life-changing. ReliefFactor.com is where you can get that. That is ReliefFactor.com. So the Democrats are really, they do this weird thing where they have a really bad policy that loses them elections. And then instead of adjusting that policy to be a little bit more reasonable, they just keep doubling and tripling down on the crazy thing that they're doing. And in this case, first of all, I love it. Okay. But in this case, this is this weird, trying to just run as the party of criminals. The Democrat Party is just the party of criminals at this point. And so you could point to everything since day one, January 20th, that Donald Trump was inaugurated, where they have been trying to, cheer on these illegal gang members that are being deported and all of that. But their latest opposition to ICE, I don't know. I think that they're outdoing themselves. You guys let me know what you think. ICE warns Illinois, this is a Fox News headline, ICE warns Illinois is releasing violent criminal illegal aliens despite detainers, risking public safety, and that the state has released 1,768 criminal aliens with active detainers just since January 2025. So now they have to come out and warn entire states that you may be at risk. Your safety is definitely jeopardized because your state is just taking these criminals, and instead of just letting ICE come get them, they're just putting them back in the streets. They're just letting the dangerous ones that they already caught, they already have, just back in the streets. Now, Illinois has tens of thousands of criminal illegal aliens in custody. These are individuals who have committed crimes ranging from murder and rape, child pornography, armed robbery. It doesn't have to be this way. We are doing it to ourselves. It's incredible. And I get it. This whole you can be a red state or you can be a blue state. And if Illinois wants to run their state into just into the gutter, they should be allowed to do that. I mean, okay, but criminals can cross state lines. They're making everyone less safe. How about New York City? You've got the Muslim commie mayor, Zohran Mamdani, who is putting out videos now explaining to these illegal criminals how they can avoid being arrested by ICE.
Last weekend, ICE attempted to raid Canal Street and detain our immigrant neighbors. As mayor, I'll protect the rights of every single New Yorker, and that includes the more than 3 million immigrants who call the city their home.
Spanish.
All stand up to ICE.
Subtitled in Spanish.
Know your rights. ICE is legally allowed to lie to you, but you have the right to remain silent. If you're being detained, you may always ask, "Am I free to go?" repeatedly until they answer you. You are legally allowed to film ICE as long as you do not interfere with an arrest. It is important to remain calm during any interaction with ICE or law enforcement.
I have some questions.
Do not impede their investigation, resist arrest, or run. One last thing. New Yorkers have a constitutional right to protest. And when I'm mayor, we will protect that right. New York.
Where's his microphone?
And I will fight.
I don't think it's on.
It's on him.
But I don't think it's on.
You're totally right.
That definitely was the camera picking up the audio.
Yeah, no, it totally was.
Who's running this production? This is a shitty
It is
production.
New York City government, so.
Stephen, I would like to look up how much money whatever department is responsible for creating these shitty videos gets, because I guarantee you it's way more than you think it is.
Oh, I totally agree.
And they're just blowing it. But I do have some questions because he says you're allowed to ask, "Am I free to go?" as many times as you want until they answer you. Like, thanks. Thanks, Captain Obvious. You're allowed to ask literally whatever you want until they answer you or not. Like, you can ask literally anything you want and they may not answer you. I don't even understand what he's trying to say there. Like, you can both stay silent, as he just mentions. He says in the same thing, you can stay silent, or you also can just keep asking questions until they answer you. Like, okay. This is so stupid. It gets worse though. I regret to inform you that it gets worse because you also have these Democrat lawmakers. It's not enough that ICE agents have been rammed in the streets, that they have been physically assaulted, that their families, they've been doxxed, their families have been put in jeopardy. None of that is enough for these people. Because, of course, the violence is the point. And so you have these Democrat lawmakers who are using very violent rhetoric to call the Trump administration and tell people to resist ICE. This is a Minnesota state lawmaker, Zaine, blah, 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 I don't know, Star Wars name.
I think America, right now, we are in a defining moment in our state and in our country to stand up to what is happening. And what we're seeing is an actual authoritarian government take place.
An actual authoritarian government taking. That is what we're seeing right now because we have a constitutional governmental agency who is going into our cities. They are finding the people who are not allowed to be here, who are not supposed to be here, and they are removing them from our communities. And that, my friends, in this delusional pea brain that the Democrats have, that, my friends, is an authoritarian state. Having law and order is authoritarian, actually. And you didn't vote. That the funniest thing about this to me is that, like, we had the election, and this was at the top of Americans' agenda. This is why they voted for Donald Trump. This was actually a very important issue to them. And instead of the Democrats recognizing we have gotten really radical on what we are doing, and we should maybe dial it down a little bit. Like, maybe don't simp for the gang member who was deported back to his home country. Maybe don't do that. Maybe don't fly there and have margaritas with him. Like, maybe just don't do that. Maybe just say, like, well, maybe the good ones can stay. Maybe the illegal non-gang members can stay. Maybe what if we just do illegals who are nice and have a no record with the jails, like they're non-criminals, except for the fact that they came here legally or illegally. What if we did that? Like, they're not even doing that. They're not even looking for a more reasonable, more moderate position. They're just like, no, you're a Nazi if you expect these people to assimilate. And also, it is authoritarian of Donald Trump to do what he is constitutionally bound to do, which is make sure that all of these illegals are removed from our country so that we can be more safe. Like, it's wild to me. Instead of just deciding where their more reasonable, moderate position would be, which, by the way, I want to say, for the record, I would not agree with any of those policies. I want them all gone. I don't care. I don't care if they've made a home for themselves. I don't care if they have a family here. I don't care if they have a good job. I don't care if they've never committed any other crime other than being here illegally. You can go home and you can do it the right way. If you respect our country, you respect our laws. If you respect our laws, you don't do this the wrong way. It's also very disrespectful to all of the people who are in line, who are just as important as you, and they're doing it the right way. So no, you know what? On principle, you're going to go home and you're going to do it the right way. So I just want to be clear here. I wouldn't agree with their policy, but it would be the more reasonable thing for them to do. I mean, if they really want to start winning elections again, they could just do that. Instead, you have all of these people that I've just shown you, and then you've got Seth Moulton, who, guys, again, I would never accuse the Democrats of being smart, but sometimes they surprise even me, which is hard to do because I already have a very low bar for them.
I mean, look, the President of the United States and his Secretary of Defense are conducting murder on the high seas. They're committing murder, and Americans should care. Like, look, none of us like drug traffickers, but we have laws that say that drug traffickers don't get summarily executed. And if it's happening off the coast of America with people that we don't know, just give it time before Donald Trump starts doing this same kind of thing to people we do know right here at home.
Guys, Seth Moulton is here to tell you that Donald Trump not allowing narco-terrorists to bring in drugs to our country to kill Americans, that Donald Trump protecting our country from drugs must mean that Donald Trump is going to start blowing you up. That's what it means, according to Seth Moulton. Like, if I were trying to design the worst strategy ever for Democrats, if I were I would tell them to do every single thing that they are doing right now. Of course, Americans voted for him because they don't want the narco-terrorists bringing drugs into this country. Because they saw that fentanyl was like the leading killer of young Americans. And they didn't like the fact that we had a totally open border with drugs pouring in. Of course, they voted for the fact that they don't want their streets less safe because illegal criminals are roaming among them. We just voted for the guy last year for all of these reasons. And your argument is actually blowing up narco-terrorists bad. I love it. Let's just disregard this entire segment. I love it. I don't want to criticize them on this. I think that what they're doing is a gift to Republicans. I hope they keep this shit up because it is the dumbest thing. It is the dumbest strategy I have ever seen in my entire life. It is so tone deaf and stupid. I hope that they never stop doing this. I want to hear about the Maryland father and how Trende Aragua was only taking over one apartment building that they took over. Can you point to any other examples? I want them to keep this energy up forever. Please, Democrats, please do that and see how that works out for you. All right, want to thank our sponsor, PreBorn, and then I want to bring in my guest here. PreBorn, I know you guys have heard me talk about this a lot, but as we move into Christmas, I really want to stress, I cannot stress to you enough how great PreBorn, what a great organization PreBorn is. And so if you would like to give the gift of life this year, we give gifts all the time to people who don't need anything. Because it's just like it's tradition, and you feel like I got to get them something. I got to wrap something up. I got to give them an envelope. I got to give them something because it's Christmas and we go to these parties, and it's like you find it to be like I'm going to be frowned upon if I don't. Here's the thing. You can literally give them the gift of life by way of ultrasound, because what PreBorn is doing is they are showing these scared, unplanned mothers who are thinking about, killing their babies over at the Planned Parenthood around the corner. They're actually showing these moms the truth on ultrasound. They're letting the moms listen to the heartbeat. And in that moment, that mom is twice as likely to choose life. So think about how proud, how honored someone would be in your life if this Christmas you gave them the gift of saving babies' lives. $28 is the cost of an ultrasound. How many babies' lives can we save together? Please, I'm telling you, if you can save one baby, one ultrasound, 5, 10, however much that donation is, just know it can be a tax-deductible donation as well for the end of the year, and you're giving the gift of life. You can go to preborn.com/Sarah, donate securely over at preborn.com/Sarah. So not that long ago, we did several shows about our friend Nick Sortor. He's a citizen journalist who was arrested after being attacked. He was attacked at an ICE protest in Portland, and he was the one who was arrested. It happened again, my friends, over the weekend by anti-ICE protesters in New Orleans. And there you see Nick defending himself after this person approached him and attacked him. And what's crazy about every time this happens to the only journalists that are showing up and getting this, by the way, CNN isn't there, MSNBC isn't there actually on the ground asking people questions. Those of us who do go out there get assaulted. And the police, you can't even trust the police to actually side with the victims They continue to side with these violent protesters. And I want to play for you the police, New Orleans police, immediately blaming Nick for antagonizing people because he was asking questions.
Basically, I don't want you here antagonizing him, creating a problem. I don't have a problem with you being here is what I'm saying.
I mean, asking questions should not be antagonistic.
Well, but let them do, there's no reason to even ask them questions. Let them just exercise their right, and if you want to film them, stand by your vehicle and film them because you got to say so. By you asking them questions and starting a dialogue with them, you're creating a problem with them.
There's no reason to ask them questions. You're not allowed freedom of speech in this country. You can't stand on a public sidewalk and ask someone a question because I guess that's too antagonistic. I want to welcome to the show another citizen journalist, good friend of the show, Gary Faust. You may know him as a Street Gonzo on social media. And I was glad that you were on today because you go out there and you put yourself out there as well. And I think that it's important for people to recognize how much danger being a citizen journalist, how much danger you guys put yourselves in sometimes.
Yeah. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah.
And yes, you always should carry a gun. I always do.
If it is legal, my friends.
No. You should carry a gun no matter what, because that is your God-given right and also constitutional right. I don't really give a what the law is because, as you just saw, the police don't generally enforce it as it's supposed to be enforced regardless. I mean, you just saw a police officer telling a citizen journalist that asking questions, he shouldn't be doing that, which is ridiculous. But, I mean, anybody that's dealt with the police in depth, and I will say that I have,
I'm so shocked to hear that about you, Gary.
I mean, I don't even have a license right now. I drove illegally all the way up here because...
You're not supposed to admit to that.
Well, I don't care because it's... I shouldn't have gotten in trouble in the first place. I got my license is suspended because I got a ticket while I was in Kerrville volunteering in the floods.
Oh.
And I might have driven around this sign or 3 signs that said I wasn't supposed to be driving in that area. And the cop was like, blah, 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 and gave me a ticket. But the point is, this kid is not doing anything wrong, and the police don't have his back, which, I mean, depending on where you are, obviously not all the police are bad, but...
Yeah, you got to expect that these days.
Certain places, yeah. I mean, the police aren't going to have your back, and I don't know.
The way that I see it, and I want to talk to you about your documentary, but just real quick on that, because I will not admit to any crimes on my show. But what I will say is I always think to myself, if you bring a gun into a venue that says that you're not allowed to bring a gun and you end up being the good guy and saving people, are they really going to prosecute you for that? I would guess not. I would guess that they'd be like, all right, it's fine, but we're going to look like shitheads if we actually follow through with penalizing you for just saving a bunch of people. So we'll give you a slap on the wrist.
With something like that, it would depend on the DA, right?
Yeah.
If they're going to go after you for whatever you did. So, I mean, I'm not telling anybody to follow my example by any means. Because I'm not a good example or role model, but
you are a good citizen journalist.
Well, I just don't really like rules, and I don't think that they're enforced properly anyways. I mean, something like if someone had a gun in a situation when they weren't supposed to have a gun and then they used it lawfully according to the Constitution, and then the DA went after them, you'd be screwed.
Yeah.
But I still carry a gun everywhere.
Gary,
you know what I'm saying?
You know what? We're going to move on. We're going to talk about your Puerto Rico documentary, which last time you were here, we talked about it, but it hadn't dropped yet. So I want to give everyone just kind of a sneak peek at this doc. Watch.
Here we are, down on the beautiful island of Puerto Rico of beautiful brown women and sandy beaches. And we're down here to ask people about the power grid failures that the island has been experiencing for the past 8 years after Hurricane Maria in 2017. The power grid, PREPA, has been bankrupt since July of 2017. They've been going through bankruptcy proceedings and experiencing rolling blackouts ever since then. And in 2020, the island got the biggest FEMA expenditure they've ever been given, but they can't access any of that money because of the bankruptcy proceedings. So we want to talk to people that are being affected by the power grid, Puerto Ricans affected by the power grid.
A lot of shit.
Yeah.
See that, Joe?
rich, poor, suburbs, tourism areas, everywhere. How do we fix the Puerto Rican power grid?
Uncle Harry Potter coming with a magic wand.
And find out what it's really like and how bad it actually is, because I don't think really many people know about this.
You know, Gary, I'm glad to hear that ending line because you posted a clip from the last time you were on, and I was saying, which I will gladly say again, I was saying, maybe it's me, but I had no idea that it was this bad. And people in your comments were like, what is she, some dumb bitch? Like, of course it's this bad. And I'm like, I don't feel like I'm alone in this. I just never paid attention. I didn't know.
Now, a lot of people in America on the mainland, mind you, we all speak English. 78% of Americans speak only English. So when
Should be higher.
the majority of this reporting in Puerto Rico is done in Spanish, there's a reason that we don't know about it. There's a language barrier there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's the primary reason. Also, Puerto Rico is not a state, it's a territory.
Right.
So if this was happening in Mississippi,
Right.
we'd be more aware of it. But still, these are U.S. citizens and should be treated as such. And with the power grid situation down there deteriorating as it has, it seems to me like they're almost falling into third world conditions. And we have an island of Americans that are not living like Americans. So that's primarily why I'm interested in this. And basically, the documentary that we put together, you'll get firsthand experience of what living conditions have been like since Hurricane Maria with people that have not had power. And the power grid is intrinsically connected to a lot of other things on the island, like people with medical issues, schools, stuff like that. So you're going to see not only the living conditions, but you're going to also see how things are affected in other capacities. But what's really interesting to me as an investigative journalist is that we discovered that the financial board that Obama installed more or less with the PROMESA Act in 2016 has become a shadow government that controls all of the money and therefore controls the entire island. And they have helped siphon $2 billion of Puerto Rican tax money off the island and into the bank accounts of Wall Street law firms.
And the financial board, is that the PREPA?
No, the
That's
PREPA
something
is
separate.
PREPA is the Puerto Rican Electric Power Authority. That's the old government-owned power company.
Okay.
Which has now been taken over by Luma, who controls the transmission and distribution, and then Henra PR, who controls the actual generation of power in the power plants, which we visit one of the power plants as well, the PREPA Aguirre power generation facility. And mind you, PREPA, the government-owned entity, is bankrupt, but they still own all the grid assets. And so
bankrupt since 2017.
8 years. Longest municipal bankruptcy in the history of America. And that was facilitated by this financial board, the FOMB, the Financial Oversight and Management Board, who on the island they call it La Junta, which is not a positive nickname.
What does it mean?
It just means the board, but it's a derogatory name, basically.
Okay.
Like that's La Junta. They're the people on the island that are privy to what's actually happening, which I would say is the large majority of them. They're pretty much disgusted by this, and I think the board not negotiating the bankruptcy proceedings of PREPA specifically for so long has developed into like an anti-colonial sentiment, basically. Like they feel like they don't have sovereignty because this financial board can supersede the law. They can literally create legislation and sign it into law, and the financial board can supersede it because they have the power to control all the money. Yes, they're a shadow government. I mean, I'm not just using this fancy vernacular because I think it sounds cool. Yeah, but it does sound cool, but it's actually happening. It actually
is not cool, as it turns out. Like, it's not cool at all.
Yeah, it's really sad because the Puerto Rican people are paying for this and the island's already bankrupt. Dude, did you know that the typical salary yearly for a Puerto Rican is $18,000?
Yes.
Think about that. So their typical income is $18,000. 54% of children live in poverty there. And on top of that, they don't have reliable electricity. We met this kid. He's got this disease where he can't breathe on his own. So he's hooked to this machine, right? and it breathes for him. So his life is literally plugged into the power grid. So when it goes down, his mom has to use these batteries, and if the batteries all burn out, if there's hurricane and there's a 2-week blackout, his mom's got to go get the aunt to drive to the gas station to get gas, and there's like 300 people in line at the gas station because everybody else is using generators because they don't have electricity.
Right.
It's really a nightmare. And these again are American citizens. That's why I think I'm so invested in this, because
they're Americans too. They should.
They shouldn't be living like this.
Yeah.
You
Tell everyone where they can find the document.
So this is on my YouTube. This is a first video that we've made on the Street Gonzo YouTube off of Drinking Bros. We are now independent.
Oh, great.
So yeah, this is a pretty big deal for us in terms of getting it out there and promoting it. So it's on Street Gonzo YouTube. The title is Exposing Wall Street Lawyers Who Siphoned $2 billion, or Exposing the Shadow Government, or something. I change it all the time, but it's on the Street Gonzo YouTube.
Yeah, it's at @street_Gonzo, I see on the screen. So make sure that you go subscribe to the channel and check it out. Make sure you do that. I want to thank our sponsor, American Giant, and then I want to bring someone else onto the conversation here, onto the panel here. So American Giant it's very simple. American Giant, they make all of their very, very nice quality clothing right here in the United States from top quality materials, and they really want to make sure that every piece lives up to what Made in America really means. You're gonna, like, when you buy something from American Giant, number one, it's gonna cost a little bit more. It is, but it's going to last forever. We have a sweatshirt from American Giant, and you feel the difference in the fabric. Like, it is weighted. It feels like very heavy duty, nice material. It holds its shape wash after wash. It's not like the made in China shit that you're getting from Amazon. Okay, so I'm just saying, if you want to buy from a company that believes in its workers, its factories right here at home, and in doing things the right way, go to American Giant. Buy American today at american-giant.com. They've got pants, they've got shirts, they've got hoodies, they've got whatever you need over there. Save 20% when you use my name, Sarah, at checkout. That's american-giant.com. Use promo code Sarah at checkout. Joining the conversation now is Davey Jackson. He is a comedian and also avid sunglass lover.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, you guys are intimidating me. I can't see your eyeballs, which is, it's fine. Anywho, you guys together went to Dearborn, Michigan, which we talk about all the time as being overrun with Islamists, which is kind of a problem. And you apparently got a tip to go check out a safe house. And so you went to go check it out.
This is a map to a safe house, you're saying?
This house, there's something going on there.
Something jihadi related, you think?
Yeah.
We were told it was extremely dangerous and warned to stay away. So of course we headed right over. We staked out the building for about 6 hours before we finally made our move.
You guys ready? Let's go, Tom.
As we approached the safe house, we knew how dangerous it could be with no idea of what we might find inside. But we wore night vision cameras to document the entire experience. Once we made it inside the safe house, we immediately found signs of recent activity and knew we might not be alone. But nothing could have prepared us for what we ultimately discovered.
What the is this?
What did you find in there?
Ooh, that's a spoiler. I'll tell you this. We did not expect to find really anything initially.
Okay.
And then we staked out this safe house for what, Gary? About 6 hours?
6 or 7 hours, yeah, I'd say.
Yeah. So, as we observed some of the very suspicious activity going on around the safe house, at the end, like right before we broke into this place, we realized, there's definitely something going on in here. Yeah. I mean, we get the tip from this guy who's just a guy telling us, there's been some weird activity around this building. We've seen, Arab people walking in and out of this thing. They've got this giant fence around the perimeter and they're sneaking stuff in and out of there and no one really knows what's going on, but it's dangerous and we wouldn't recommend you go over there. So Gary and I went over there.
Naturally,
got
yes.
some ski masks and
Just broke in.
just decided to do, allegedly. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I'm getting better at this whole
Yeah.
crime thing. Allegedly broke
last
in
break.
and we found something.
We did find something. Yeah.
He doesn't want me to give away what it is. He's a big suspense guy.
I mean, it's working because I'm like, I want to know, damn it.
I'll tell you off air. Don't worry.
Will you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay. Well,
Yes, Mios. Absolutely.
But for everyone else, you guys did the documentary. I guess it was focused on how they are all taking over the city council, and cracking down on free speech, which you saw firsthand, I assume.
Well, so the whole goal was to go out there and find out what's really going on. Because you see all this stuff on social media, Sharia law, calls to prayer, 50% of the police force is Arab, right? So is there something sinister happening in Dearborn? And that's what we went to find out. And I think we confirmed there is a lot going on in Dearborn that is extremely problematic. I mean, you've got a mayor that's just absolutely unhinged, telling people they're not welcome in the city because they have a problem with naming a street sign after a Hamas sympathizer, potentially supporter.
Right.
So there is a lot going on there. The safe house was crazy. I actually spoke at their city council meeting as well. Yeah.
Yelled at the city council and the police almost arrested him.
Yeah.
Hey, you can speak at whatever volume you would like in the time that you have at these city council
Well, yeah,
meetings.
but when you go over the time and refuse to leave.
Well, listen, hey, I had some stuff to say.
They
didn't want to listen to it.
There was also some stuff that happened that I was not expecting in any capacity that was more in line with what you would expect from your average American. Like we talked to this one Muslim kid about the national anthem. And I said, well, if they're playing the call to prayer 5 times a day, would you have a problem with the national anthem? And he actually said that he thought it was sad that they don't play the national anthem anymore. So there was some really stuff you would not expect. We wore some hidden cameras and infiltrated a couple of mosques.
Yep.
And at one of them, the guy actually spoke very highly of Christianity and also said something that kind of blew my mind. And I still can't really wrap my mind around how he came to this conclusion. But he did say that he thinks that in America that the white man is being restricted from having any sort of cultural identity. Which I was surprised that a Muslim man of all people would say that. So it's not just, it's not just we went up there to try to find something. We found something. We found a lot of things that we also were not expecting. Yeah. It's very. I
also want to point out that the same
bad.
guy that said the white man is losing his identity in America, he also said that Islam could save America. So you got to wonder, are these people putting best foot forward? Are they doing the taqiya? What's really going on?
Yeah, exactly. Well, with that, it's like he said that white men are losing their identity. He didn't say he hated it. Right?
He was
a statement of fact, but like he's happy about it maybe.
No, he spoke about it pitifully almost. He was like, it was bizarre.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm telling you, I was surprised.
Like he felt sorry for us.
Yeah.
So
and he wasn't saying white men were losing their identity. He was saying there are forces in this country preventing white men from having an identity.
So, okay, I have to watch this now. When is it? We've got like a minute left. When is it coming out? Where can I see it?
Well, as
God,
the same thing as
Gary.
last time when I said, hey, this thing will be done in 2 weeks, and it was done in 2 months. We haven't finished editing it yet. However, we have nothing else going on right now, so I'm going to get this done as quickly as possible.
And it's going to come out on the Street Gonzo YouTube?
No, it's going to be on...
It's going to be on my YouTube as long as Gary doesn't blow it, But we're hoping by the end of December, right, Gary?
Right, Gary?
Yeah.
Gary? Gary?
Allah Akbar!
There's a GoFundMe.
Yes, there is a GoFundMe. Yeah, we need additional funding to finish the edit on this thing.
Where's the GoFundMe?
Gary,
Quick.
It's on my Instagram, so go to my Instagram.
Okay, go to his Instagram. Thank you guys so much.
Hey.